Exit 8 is our newest attraction from Japan. That is a old video game, not it's old, a video game in the 2020s or 2010s, very big with streamers. And as we have been seeing throughout the universe, video games are kind of popular right now. And it's great when we have people who actually play the stuff, who experience the moment of that game and just had a simple thought. Listen, man, we could make this into a movie. And normally, if you'd be in Hollywood, that's where things would start going wrong. You know, everyone wants to put their finger and have a opinion on what this thing should be, especially if you're the guys investing in it. So, however, turns out Japan knows a little thing called restraint. And while I haven't played Exit 8 or Hachiban Deguchi, as it's known in Japan, I knew about its kind of style. I knew about the hallways, I knew about the anomalies. What I didn't know is how deep this story would go. And let's start from there. Because Japan and its subway system has been notoriously documented as a necessary evil, shall we call it. People are shoved into shuttles, little train carts, and they just go on their merry way. And some of the not greatest examples of human beings tend to make their way down to that subway station. So when we are presented with our main protagonist, if you want to call him that, this gentleman who has been very well cast. You know, it's easy to kind of go above, it's kind of easy to go underneath. Maybe I'm just his age and that's why I don't feel like he's that old, because I don't want some kind of coping mechanism. But they picked a very interesting main character, right? He blends that line between a young adult who is just trying to make life happen and someone who's on the preface of just accepting their adulthood and knowing what it is that they're gonna be working for / fighting for the rest of their lives. So let's start with that one, yeah? We have our young gentleman who is inexplicably stuck in the underground system of Japan, the subway system of Japan. And while this normally wouldn't be a huge issue, there's fun things to do down there, turns out that in this particular spot of land, hijinks occur, hijinks ensue. And it's within these hijinks that you start to get the appeal of this story, right? Because normally, walking down a white hallway, staring at posters, and just trying to spot anything differently doesn't sound as what's the word? Exciting / promising as one would presume. But that's where to get you. We start very simply, right? The anomalies are very low key. It's like, okay, a little thing here, a little thing there, something that doesn't seem quite right, but hey, I'm gonna just go ahead and trust it. And those moments are laid out throughout the film. It sort of lulls you into a sense of like chill understanding before things really hit the fan. So let's ask ourselves, why would anyone make a story like this, right? If we're talking about young adults, if we're talking about a Japanese society, if we're talking about the day-to-day grind of the Japanese culture / individuals, people, what would they be trying to tell us? Thankfully, we have other examples. He is our main protagonist, but that guy, that guy in the white button up, the what are they called? The salaryman. I gotta say, that's like, oh, it's a mosquito. That's like 10 out of 10 casting. I don't know who got the call to be like, I know a guy. But they knew, damn it, they knew a guy that looked exactly like that video game guy. And I gotta say, the casting is phenomenal when it comes to this. It's an ensemble of a few people that really bring something fresh to the table. Fresh as in a different perspective, a different mindset, different reactions to the surrounding environments. And that's very important to see, because not only are we getting the moment-to-moment reflections of this young gentleman, but we also see the perhaps consequences of when things go extremely wrong with the other mates. So it's there. It's a way to kind of reflect on this guy's moment while also trying to use the information from this guy's moment, got him, to go forward and create a new path. If that sounds very cryptic, it's because it is. And thankfully, the film did a great job of laying everything out towards the end. Obviously, you guys know me. I'm very big on like brain stuff. So even early on, just seeing the pure trailers and not knowing what the story of the video game is supposed to be or how it ends or whatever, but very early on, even on that trailer, you start to get glimpses of what we might be talking about. And ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Japanese birthright declining rates. It's true. It's true. People are not meeting each other anymore. And while that's, you know, it's your prerogative, you know, life is life and you're allowed to live how you want to live. These are facts. Time waits for no man. Simply put, we have 3 people in different points in their lives, and plus 1 extra cool character. And we have them all sort of presenting their viewpoints / reflecting on their situation. Not necessarily the horror maze that they're stuck in, but what that kind of implies when they get out of this mess. When we leave this, if we're so lucky to make it out alive, where does that leave my life? What have I been doing so far? And is it really worth it? I presume most people ask themselves that question at least like twice a day, depending on how long your drive-through takes. But it's a very important question to ask, specifically when we're trying to investigate and look through what is Japanese culture. The Japanese, for all their great inventions, their culture, their food, the art that they have given back after being not greatest people in the universe, is all things we appreciate. But realistically speaking, the Japanese business workforce model is not something you want. Realistically speaking, sure, I don't mind drinking at night, but even I would get bored of drinking every single freaking day. Like, come on. I love the flavor of beer, but even I get like over it after like, you know, like, oh, I'm good. Like I had some yesterday. It's good. I don't need any more. And to think that these people have lived their lives with that sort of mindset, that all I'm good for is work. All I need to do is get a job that pays, and I will dedicate my life and my years and my be whatever you need it to be. All to get to where? A balding man with a briefcase, stuck in a loop, going back and forth between offices, waking up and sleeping only in between. Doesn't sound much like a life to me. So, we see that. We see the young man. We see him sort of deal with this emotion of that perhaps, just somehow, and maybe, he might become a father. And that plot point is the one that I was waiting to hear. Because so far, we had seen a lot of symbolism and imagination or imaginary imagery of this almost like a approaching threat in the form of a crying baby, which makes sense. If you see the opening, or if you see that there's a little scene in between towards the middle where he's reflecting on this moment where there's a baby crying on the train that he was on, and it's a packed train. And this lady is carrying her baby, and the baby starts crying. It's a baby. It's gonna cry. But because, and I'm giving them grace, again, humanity, we all kind of suck, but I'm giving us grace. Because Japan society is so overworked, usually don't have any happiness waiting for them at home, or activity, or time for hobbies, activities, fun things like to do. Karaoke bars, ayo. And being forced to be stuffed in that train 5-6 times a week, people are on edge. And there is one older gentleman who starts going off at the mother for not attending to her, not basically not telling your child to shut up. The little baby, right? He's like, oh, get that child to shut up. Why are you in the busiest train at the busiest time? It's like, and Japan isn't very confrontational, is the understanding that I'm getting, that I have gotten from years of exposure to their culture, right? Japan, for all its purposes, is politer than they used to be about 50 years ago. I'm leaving that very vague for us. 60 years ago now. Yeah, no, yes, no, 70 years ago. And so to see this guy get super salty about a baby, which, hey, we've all been there, you know, we've all been stressed out, and then to hear this noise, it's not the greatest feeling. But then to take that moment and then you become the stupid asshole that's like, oh, why are you doing this? Blah, 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 blah. That's where we're gonna have a problem. Now, unfortunately, the young gentleman doesn't have that endurance yet. He's probably, that's what I'm trying to say. He's probably not a real man who's confident in his setting and like is understanding of what needs to be done, or has a sense of like urgency, right? Someone's yelling at this lady for her baby. I'm just gonna stay quiet, put on my earbuds, and pretend it's not happening because it is not my problem. Yeah, that's something that a selfish young adult would do. And hey, I'm not judging them that way. I'm simply saying that why would a young adult with their future ahead of them suddenly decide to stop and give their time, their effort, maybe a chance of conflict for someone they've never met and or may not be interested in valuing in the idea that why would I have a kid if this is what's gonna happen in our future? Why would I have a kid if I know I don't have the time to watch him over? Why would I have a kid if this goddamn economy isn't even paying us a decent wage? No one's saying they're the wrong questions, right? No one's blaming anybody for feeling that way. If anything, it's up to the government to actually try to make programs that make sense, that allow people to be able to dedicate time to your future. Your future. Educate your goddamn future before you give up on it. So, a lot of things were being said in this film, and when I heard that baby crying in the trailer, I really started to line those things up, and I believe that we were going to be getting into this sort of topic and these examples, and this is what the story is trying to say. But the film did a great job of laying everything out. Hence why I don't really mind doing a spoiler thingy today. Normally I try to keep the plot points to myself so you guys can enjoy them. But I waited until Sunday so everyone had a chance to watch it over the weekend. And now we can talk about it in a bit more detail because these are important things, man. These are important things. There is a birth rate decline in Japan. It's spreading to South Korea. I think China has always had an issue now. They've officially lifted their one-child rule in China, which means that they need people. They are out of people. And America is next. We've seen the numbers. We've seen the people. We've seen the dating space. Ain't nobody comfortable with popping out a child for someone who's not gonna be there a year later. And that could be the male or that can be the female that suddenly decides that, oh, I deserve better. It is what it is. And that's why it's a problem. So when I see Japan stepping ahead of the situation and making a video game with maybe not this topic, but with the premise that can be given or can lean into something bigger. I said on my little short video that like, go watch that out, it's fun. I was right outside AMC. I said that like, I lost my train of thought. It's I lost my train of thought. The film is good and it has something to say, right? And to think that they made a game out of this, I said that I don't know if the game actually goes this deep into what they're trying to say here. If it doesn't, that's interesting in the way that they were able to take that original concept and layer it with something difficult, right? Something serious, something that can go just beyond a video game. And I almost really am definitely curious to see what the original game holds in store. If it reflects this at all, or if it's had its own style, right? Again, these are interesting things. I wouldn't put it against these people to kind of like take the original story and add something crazy or intense and good to it, something that actually made it better in my opinion. But it's also curious to see that people can still get that original concept and get creative with it. It can be a double-edged sword, but what I'm trying to tell you right now is that these guys knocked it out of the park. The cinematography is solid. You get those close-up shots, you get those behind the head shots where it really just feels like you're stuck walking with this guy. And when you get certain moments that really ramp up the horror, right? The kind of like the unease of that approaching threat. Children. It is enough to make you try to understand what he's going through. And of course, you add a little bit of a super legit time travel shenanigans. That's all I'm gonna say about that. And yeah, you get a very, very compelling story. And again, they did a great job casting everybody in this film. There's basically like 5 main characters that actually have like solid lines and dialogue, and they all bring something different to the table. So, color me impressed. Japan, you did it again. Rurouni Kenshin was one of my favorite live action adaptations, and this really feels like Japan understands what they have going on. So, I would like to humbly request that everybody in Hollywood shut the fuck up, go watch Exit 8, get an understanding of what a damn good video game adaptation slash book slash comic can and should be. And then you call Tom Cruise, you get his production company, and you guys start adapting Akira. It's goddamn time. It's time to have a baby. So, if that's you, if you're curious, if your wife is pregnant, go check it out, or maybe don't. You'll ruin the experience for yourself. However, if we're just human beings that are trying to understand life and pushing forward with the hopes of finding something, some peace, then yeah, we probably won't ever find that. But opening your door to come home from a long ass day of work and seeing your baby girl, your little boy, run up to you and hug your knees, well, it's not so bad after all, is it? So, purpose, responsibility, adulthood, and the power to inspire the next generation. It's an infinite spiral. It's an infinite loop. Life, it finds a way. So, I really hope that you all find your way down to the movie theater, and you please, please, please support the crap out of this film. It is very good. I would give it a 6 out of 7. Super easy. I don't want to overhype it, so I won't say 10 out of 10, you know, or 7 out of 7. But it is very damn good, and every kind of like scene that they present that has a looming presence in it, you can feel that, and that is nothing short of a mastercraft. So definitely, if you have time, I might go check it out again today. Honestly, I might go check it out again today. Please go watch Exit 8 and let me know what you think. Should we have kids? Are you guys ready to have kids? What's the stressfulest thing about understanding that I might have gotten my girlfriend pregnant and now I have to make a choice? Do we want our baby, or do we want to keep on living the same life, the day-to-day life that I've been living my whole life? something that big is a unmeasurable change in life, right? The birth of your child is something that changes the course of your life for the rest of your days. But maybe, and if you're doing it with the right person, perhaps with hope, love, patience, and understanding, maybe that's not such a bad thing after all. With that being said, thanks for watching. I really enjoy this, and I'm looking forward to more stuff like this coming into our nation, whether that be from Japan, whether that be from France, whether that be from a just director in America that actually gives a damn about the source material that was given to him. That's what I took from this. It is possible. They did a damn good job. And ask your girlfriend. Talk to your girlfriend. Ask her of what she feels about it. So I feel like this is one of those, like, if you took your girl to go watch this, you'd either like come out like super like, yeah, dude, we got this, or it's like, you know what, maybe we're not meant for each other. And perhaps, if, even in the worst moments or the saddest choices, perhaps that very clarity, to gain that clarity, to understand that, perhaps that's the greatest gift of all. So, with all that being said, should you have a kid, are you ready to be a guiding force in a young mind's life? I don't think we're ever really ready, but I choose to believe that having that desire to care for and to give is the most important value for any parent and their child. So let's try to be better, you know? Let's try to love these guys and show them something worth living for. That's what it's all about. And if we're lucky, then this hexagon, what is it called? The Andronius hexagon will keep on spinning for years to come. To infinity and beyond. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one. Ciao. Matane. Oh.